So a little while back I did a video on Ben 10 aliens you may not have heard of, and in that video I said I would have included the pre-production aliens with the list of aliens that didn't make it into the show, but felt as if that was in need of its own video. Well, this is that video. Although it's kept the same basis, a lot of the show has changed since its pre-production. For instance, Gwen, who was originally Ben's love interest, becoming his cousin, and Ben having a different body type and being a redhead. The Omnitrix was a lot different than its final design, resembling more of a Earth wristwatch than an alien device, having a yellow shade to it unlike its recognizable green coloring. Having only one hand, the crown on the side would be the buttons to select the aliens, which were represented by orange circles and would be activated by the buttons on the front, which raised the dial. The majority of the aliens in pre-production were less alien and more humanoid, being based off of Golden Age superheroes. Each transformation had one power or skill that usually had something to do with an element of nature. Razorjaws was a bipedal crocodile-like creature that was eventually replaced by Ripjaws. This purple aquatic-based alien had green hieroglyphic symbols all over its body, with the dorsal fin that started at the back of his head and went down to the midsection of his back. Like his counterpart, he's less bulky but quite muscular and had an overbite. But unlike Ripjaws, Razorjaw's teeth seem to be randomly scattered within his mouth. Digger was an orange and red colored alien with a muscular body type. With pitch black eyes, a flat nose, and shielding material on his body, this three-fingered alien had the ability, like his name implies, to dig. Although this alien didn't make it into the show, being replaced by Wildmutt, his abilities were later given to both Armadillo and Ditto.
If any of your aliens are good at digging, now would be the time.
Although the concept of a plant alien wouldn't be introduced into the second season of the show, a version of Wildmutt was considered in the original playlist of aliens in the form of Plant Guy. Having less of a vine look and resembling that of a tree, Plant Guy lacked any teeth and was covered in a crusty layer of roots that made up his body, having 5 fingers that could turn into roots and 2 toes with a large collar, a bit similar to wild vines that raised up around his neck and leaf-like ears. Originally, Stinkfly was going to be a combination of various insects and bugs, i.e. roaches, flies, and bees. Some of the concepts for Stinkfly were of a bipedal creature with shielding around their wings. Dragonfly, who mostly resembles his rebooted counterpart, was a toothless armored humanoid insect-like alien with green-colored skin. Unlike the final design of Stinkfly, Dragonfly had antennae, white wings, and had more of a muscular build to him. The pre-production design for Grey Matter wasn't that much different from its final design, besides the obvious size difference. This version of Grey Matter resembled the more stereotypical gray-skinned alien, having a big head and a very skinny body. He wore a full bodysuit that covered his 3-toed feet all the way up to his neck. This version also had the ability of having a superior intellect, and was the only pre-production alien with a visible Omnitrix symbol, which was located on his left wrist. Ghost Freak is highly different from the original show's version, sporting not only clothes, but an orangish-yellow cape that matched his skin and would have been used for gliding, and tendrils that gave the impression of hair. Unlike the Ghost Freak we know, this version had a face, a nose, and a giant grin with large teeth. Heat Blast is the first transformation to ever be used within the Ben 10 franchise, but before him, there was Inferno. Inferno was a magma-based humanoid lifeform, resembling what seems to be a mix between the Thing and the Human Torch, wearing nothing but a pair of green underwear. Predecessors for Heat Blast had volcanoes on their shoulders, which was later added to his adult version. He also had a face mask without any facial features, and has symmetrical shapes in place of his eyes, nose, and mouth. This version of Upgrade is vastly different from the one we ended up with. He's less of a techno-organic blob and more of a bulky humanoid figure, with veins along his yellow skin and sporting a body armor, with two metallic bolts on each of his fingers. I think this version would have been more like Jerry Rig, being able to construct a highly technological weapon even out of a pile of random scrap. Having less of a velociraptor form and looking as if he was a speedster from an old comic book, this version of Accelerate was a blue humanoid with pointy ears, cheekbones with what seems to be gills on them, and wore brown and black colored clothing with a cap to match. Forearms was originally called Strong Guy. Instead of being red, this three-fingered alien was gray, with purple stripes along his head, arms, legs, and feet, with what seems to be an Omnitrix logo in the middle of his torso, which formed the jockstrap that wrapped around his body. And I couldn't finish this video without mentioning the amazing art from Eric Kennett, which was a bit too much for a kids show, but wonderful to look at nonetheless. And there you have it, the pre-production playlist. I want to thank you all for watching. Let me know your favorite pre-production alien, and I'll see you when I see you.